So in conclusion, I am basically an utter failure. It's a new year, and that means it's time for the final update of my crocheting in 2025. I'm going to start with the good news, which is showing the things that I crocheted, and then we will get to the resolutions later on, and you will discover how well or not well I did with those resolutions. But first, let me show you what I've crocheted lately. So this is the fourth quarter of crocheting. So that means, that means October through December of 2025. In no particular order, the first few items I have to show are these gingerbread houses. I crocheted this larger one for the tutorial video, and then I was having fun, so I crocheted a little mini one. And technically I made 3 of these, but I sent one to a friend. And then basically once I crocheted those gingerbread houses for a video, my crochet just went off the rails. My productivity just kind of plummeted. And so I abandoned all my current projects and jumped over to crocheting random Christmas stuff. One of those items I jumped ship to is a little gingerbread man amigurumi. This is a pattern by Little Crochet Farms. To be completely honest, I think hers turned out much cuter than mine, but I did get it done, and I still think it's cute overall. The tutorial was really great, so I was hooked, and made 2 more of her patterns. I made this little nutcracker. Now, when I do amigurumis, I really struggle with the assembly part, and when I assembled it, you can see that the emblem on the hat, once it was all set in place, it's a little off-centered. So then I debated, do I make the eyes line up with the body, or do I make the eyes line up with the hat? And so I decided to make the eyes line up with the emblem on the hat, but that means my nutcracker's looking to the side. I don't totally love that, but I was not about to undo my sewing and redo the eyes, because yeah, that part took me a long while. So this is how the nutcracker ended up. And then the third pattern I did from this Christmas themed amigurumi series was a little penguin. I thought it would be cute if I made the penguin pink and blue. I don't know that I love my color choice, but I was working with the colors that I had available in some amigurumi yarn. And this is how he turned out. Got a little scarf on him and everything. Then the next few projects were the result of having some really pretty Christmas yarn that I just wanted to use. And I was feeling inspired, and I made some coasters and some ornaments. I did a little short on both of these. It's not a full tutorial, but just kind of breaks down the concept. I made 3 of these ornament coasters, but one I sent to my sister. But they're a very simple design. You just crochet a circle, and then for the ornament topper, you use a different color and you crochet a few rows of single crochet back and forth. And then for the loop, you can just tie a loop, or like me, you can work some chain stitches and then slip stitch down to hold it in place. But it's just a fun coaster idea, and I like swapping out crochet coasters throughout the different seasons, just because it's a fun way to add a little holiday decor to what I've got going on. And then also the result of wanting to use my Christmas color yarn, I made a couple of plush ornaments. And again, I have a short that kind of talks to the process. Briefly, I'll explain how I made these. Very similar to the coasters, just this time we crochet 2 circles, and then once we have made both circles, we hold them together, and around both edges we work single crochet, and we stuff it before we go all the way around. You can stuff it as much or as little as you want, and I just made 2 of these. Then I had another project that was inspired by wanting to use a specific yarn. I have some of this chenille yarn from Michaels. I probably got it over a year ago. Finally put it to use, and I made a Santa hat for myself. I'm kind of obsessed with this thing. It's gonna mess up my hair for the rest of the video, but I'll show y'all how it looks. So you can put it on by, just putting the hat on with the brim facing downward. And I think it's pretty cute. Or you can also fold the brim up and then put it on. Just kind of depends on how you want it to fit. And anyways, with this, I started using this as my winter hat all throughout December. I did not leave the house at all in December, so I never actually had a chance to wear this out anywhere. But if I went outside, I'd put it on as my hat. And it actually got my ears pretty warm. I thought it was kind of fun. To make this hat, I used my pattern for crocheting any size Santa hat. I will link to that down below. In that tutorial, I start off with using 4 stitches for the beginning round. If you use more stitches in the beginning round, it will get wider faster. I wanted this hat to have a bit of length up top, so I just started it with 3 stitches, but then the same concept applies. I did the increasing rounds until it was the right circumference for my head, and then I just worked rows evenly until the hat was the total length I wanted. So from about here down, I just worked evenly in the red. And then I had this white yarn. It's really soft, another gift from a friend. And it was really thin, but I didn't have any other good white yarn that was bulky enough or that I thought was soft enough. So I did the trick where I tripled up the thin yarn to make it thick enough to match the red yarn. It's a technique called Navajo plying. I've got a video that shows the process. Really fun way if you want to use up some thinner yarns or you want to create a bulky yarn with what you've already got. But yeah, I love how this hat turned out. As I got into December and was really close to Christmas, I didn't want to tackle any big projects, and so I was on a bit of an amigurumi kick, and I made this cute little bunny. This was a gift from a friend. It was a kit for this, and I am so proud of how it turned out. I think it turned out really cute. There was a lot of sewing arms and legs and things on, and that's generally where my projects fall apart. Also, I don't know what was happening with my tension. The like white part for the nose, it was supposed to have another round, but when I did all of the rounds, the pattern said it was covering the whole face. So I don't know what happened with my tension there. I just dropped off one round and then that made it look the correct size. But anyways, this is Dennis, the Daredevil speed skating bunny. I didn't put a loop on him to make him into an ornament, but I used him as an ornament and just kind of tuck him into the tree. Very cute. So then my last big item that I truly finished has to do with my friend. As you've heard me mention throughout the video, I got sent some yarn from a friend and I sent her some things. The friend is Shannon over at the Spoonie Stitcher. Absolutely love her to death. In the last couple of years, we've done little Christmas gift care packages for each other. And I really wanted to make her something special this year. And I wanted to make it for her birthday. I started the project back in May. No, it didn't happen in time for her birthday and it barely got finished in time for Christmas. And then I shipped it to her and realized I did not get any footage of the completed project. But Shannon is a huge dog lover and she's a huge lover of Disney dogs. And I know she really likes Lady from Lady and the Tramp, and I've been getting into bead crochet. And so I thought I should make her a bag that has Lady from Lady and the Tramp on it. And again, because I am a goober and did not get any footage of the completed project before I packed it up and taped it and sent it off in the mail, you will have to jump over to Shannon's channel at the Spoonie Stitcher and watch that when she uploads it. I don't think she's uploaded it yet, so jump over there, subscribe, and hit the bell, and then you'll get notified when she posts that video, if you want to see how it turned out. So now with all that said, that is what I have crocheted in 2025. I will have a tally pop up with the total number of projects that I completed this past year. And that means now it's time to talk about my resolutions and my goals that I set for myself. Okay, goal number one was to use up 30 skeins of old yarn, basically yarn that I had bought before 2025. End of the third quarter, I was up to 10 skeins of yarn, and when the year closed out, I got up to only 15. Boo! So I only made it halfway through that goal. I got 15 out of 30. I also saved the labels from any other skeins I used up, and I did have 5 skeins of yarn that I bought in 2025 and used up in 2025, so I did save a total of 20 labels from skeins this past year. With that said, I did a lot of projects where I was only using partial amounts of a skein. I bought some jumbo things of yarn and completed big projects but still had a ton left. The Santa hat, I still have plenty of the red yarn left over and a bunch of the white yarn left over. But it was really interesting to get a metric of how many skeins of yarn I actually fully use in a year, although that is a bit of an underestimation of the total amount of yarn I crochet with in a year. So then the second resolution was to finish up 5 crochet whips that I had started prior to 2025. Last quarter, when I gave the update, I had made 0 progress, and this quarter, I also made no progress. Yeah, I kind of jumped ship and just made a bunch of little fun things just because I wanted to make them. So with that goal, that means I only completed 3 out of 5 projects that I was aiming for. So 60% on that goal. And then lastly was trying to upload 5 new patterns to Etsy in 2025. I made no progress on that this past quarter, and that leaves me at 3 patterns out of 5 uploaded to Etsy. So in conclusion, I am basically an utter failure. Really, it's okay. When I set out those goals at the start of last year, it was really meant to be an incentive to track these things, and I at least accomplished tracking them. I think it was really interesting to come up with concrete data of what I did and didn't accomplish in the year, because sometimes it feels like I accomplished so much, other times it feels like I'm getting nothing done. And so I think it was helpful for me to see just a very realistic, factual, non emotional look at what I actually do and don't get done. And I can't say that I am disappointed with myself for what I did and didn't get done. I had a lot of fun with my projects this past year, and I did put in effort to make things happen. My goals did not get completed by a long shot, but at least I challenged myself to do something. Now, will I be doing this series again for 2026? No. The reason I won't be doing this is twofold. One, I had a really hard time keeping up with making the quarterly update videos. They are just a bit of a logistics challenge because I had to gather all my projects and make sure I didn't forget anything. And then secondly, for me crocheting, I do it for my own enjoyment, for the self-fulfillment of the creative process itself. And I don't want to set goals that make crochet turn from something I enjoy into an obligation. So on that note, I want to share one last thing I've been reflecting on throughout 2025, especially in terms of considering what is my motivation when I create? Is it to meet a checklist? Is it for obligations? Is it for creative fulfillment? And anyways, I've had this thought about creativity pop up a lot throughout the past year, and I thought I'd share with y'all. Now, I know not everyone's religious. I am a Christian, and I believe that people are made in the image of God. So this is going to be a little bit of a theological musing here, take it or leave it. But being made in the image of God, while it doesn't mean that we are the same as God or on the same level as God, it does mean that who we are as humans reflects different attributes and traits he has. And so it can mean physical things like God is described as having a face, having a right arm, but when the Bible says we're made in the likeness of God, it also applies to other traits. So for instance, God is a being who experiences emotions, and we as humans, we have emotions. God is a God of rational, logical thought, and as humans, we have a conscious, rational mind that we can approach the world with. And the very first record that humanity has of God, and our very first encounter with God as humans, is the act of creation. And so, being made in the image of God, I believe that people have an inherent intrinsic desire to create. Whether you agree or not with a theological motivation behind it, I do think there's a really solid case to be made that people have an inherent desire to create. For instance, look at the game Minecraft. It is one of the best-selling games of all time. And what is Minecraft? It's what we call a sandbox game, which means it has no inherent goal or objective. So what do you do when you play Minecraft? You create your own objectives, you create your own goals, and really what you're doing in Minecraft is you are creating a world. So I do think there's something within us as humans that we desire to create simply for the sake of creating. And from a theological standpoint and as a Christian, I believe that's because we're made in the image of God. So anyways, as I've been reflecting this past year on the inherent joy and the inherent desire that I have to create, and it being a reflection of who God is, and it can be used as a way to glorify God, I've really found that I've been able to enjoy creating and crocheting and making things even more and finding more fulfillment from it. And keeping this mindset has also helped me to let go of a sense of burden or obligation with my creative process. I don't have to have constraints on my creativity of, oh, this must be perfect, or this needs to meet someone else's standard, or I've got to hop on this trend so that way my channel does well. But rather, it is okay, and it can be a very positive thing to create simply for the purpose of creating, to be creative, to develop creative skills, and simply to enjoy it. All right, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for letting me wax philosophical there for a bit, and thank you for coming along with me all throughout 2025. I hope that 2026 is a wonderful year for each and every one of you, and I hope that we can all do our part to make 2026 a great year for the people around us. Much love to you all, and happy crafting.